Okay, you beautiful zombie lovers, buckle up because it's time for an Ellie flashbacks episode. No spoilers, yada yada yada. You get the gist by now, and if you don't, what are you waiting for? I've got an entire playlist waiting to be watched and liked and commented on because you're very good people and good people do those sorts of things. This episode is called Left Behind, which is the name of the DLC for the game. The DLC also follows Ellie and looks at her life just before she met Joel. I do have some thoughts on this episode that are surprisingly not positive. I know, I'm astounded too. But I'm saving them for later because, again, I'm prematurely blowing my load here. I just wanted to give a quick apology for this video being 2 days late. But if the 999th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch is in the same bar as you, you've just got to sit and have a drink with him. And then have several more, 2 hours after he leaves. And then spend the next day in bed. Okay, let's start at the start. We've got I'm already crying and we're precisely 16 seconds in. Joel tells Ellie to f*** off and she seemingly does before a flashback to Ellie self-harming because that's what can only be described when she picks a fight with a girl double her size. Yet somehow this little psycho gives this bigger pretend psycho 16 stitches. You go, you little savage, I'm proud of you.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Did anyone else notice the little naughty dog Easter egg when Captain Kwong is giving Ellie her life options? That's pretty cool too. Ooh, a new character we've not seen before. They're definitely going to live for a very long time and live happily ever after. Oh, I forgot which show we're watching for. Ellie and Riley have a cute little dynamic. I like it and I can't wait for this to destroy me by the end of the episode. Right, see, this is future Artemis talking. I wrote this line on first viewing and this is where my negativity comes in. I was not destroyed by the end of the episode. In fact, I'm doing it again. I'll complain at the end. In fact, I'll even put a timestamp on the video so you can skip straight there if you're just here for a rant. Anyway, I am constantly told throughout episodes that Ellie is smart, but I'm also constantly watching this idiot put herself in perilous situation after perilous situation for stuff like tampons and, more astoundingly, booze. Like, girl, I get it. We've all been there. You're out of the good stuff, so you just have to scavenge a corpse to get some of that sweet, sweet ethanol in your veins. But come on. Like, these guys live in a world where cordyceps are dominating everything. Why the hell would you go and get a closer look at a dead body? I was beyond astounded when Mr. Junkie didn't spring back to life. But whatever. The sneaking out after dark and exploring is an idiot move that I would expect from a teenager in a post-apocalyptic setting. However, please correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't spend many of my teenage years super interested in cadavers, and I'm not sure a zombie apocalypse would change that.
Get in, loser, we're going shopping.
Ellie in the mall gives me life. I wish I could look at one single thing in the cesspit of a world that we live in the way that Ellie looks at escalators. FYI, I had to watch this scene 6 times because my 2-year-old came into the room at precisely this moment and wanted to watch the horses. I parent good. And before YouTube comments goes wild, no, I didn't let them watch all the good stuff. Just this scene 6 times. I like all the subtle hints, and some not so subtle, towards a romance rather than friendship between Ellie and Riley, particularly Ellie's little face in the photo booth. Oh, she's so cute. Gotta love young love. Holy crap. Okay, this is worth risking my life for. Imagine not playing games for 20 years. I'd go zombie for 30 minutes in this place. Come on, Ellie, try harder. You were literally told to mash buttons, not button. She sucks harder than I do trying to kill a clicker. Hey, a zombie. I almost forgot which fucking show we were watching, guys. I like that there's a creepy thing in the creepy doll shop. This scene goes pretty much the same way as the DLC. Riley is leaving and Ellie isn't too happy about it. Bombs on you though. I kind of like the addition too because it shows that Riley does mean business. You don't really get a sense that she's fully initiated into the Fireflies in the game, but building bombs to use on actual people is pretty extremist shit, even if she is completely in denial that it would be used in the Boston QZ, but she is a stupid kid, so I'll let it slide. You're allowed to be naive at that age. But it does sort of point out that Marlene might not be telling Riley full truths. I also like again that this episode shows Fredra as morally grey. Captain Kwong isn't an absolute prick. He's got a picture of his family on his desk and anyone with a family must be a nice guy. But anyway, he seemingly cares about Ellie and he wants the best for her. In the game, the Fireflies are sort of seen as the good guys and Fedra are seen as the bad guys. However, the show is doing a pretty good job of showing that neither is particularly good or bad. Some branches are worse than others. I'm looking at you, Kansas. But that's because of the bad people rather than what the organisation stands for. People can be bad, or as Sondheim says,
witches can be right, giants can be good. You decide what's right. You decide what's good.
So Ellie storms off and then immediately comes back when Riley pretends that she's in danger. So I don't know if I like Riley. That's a bit of a red flag for me, babe. But anyway, they make up in time for one last hurrah and a cookie little dance taken straight from the game. In fact, most of this scene is verbatim from the game. Look at how cute she is when she gets her first kiss, man. That is immediately ruined by Mr. Clicker, however, who doesn't know how to read a room. So the thing happens, and that moment of celebration followed by the realisation of what's actually happened is a great scene and well acted. acted. They really know how to maximise the attention that I give this show. When we first started the episode and cut away from Joel, I was annoyed at my television and demanded to be sent right back to Joel to see what happens. However, when we eventually cut away from Ellie and Riley back to Joel, I felt the exact same way. I was hooked and I needed to know what would happen in the following scene, even if it was astoundingly obvious. These quick back and forth scenes between Ellie and Riley and Ellie and Joel shows that Ellie isn't going to lose another person that she loves. She isn't leaving Joel and she'll do whatever she can to save him. It's also so clear how deeply she feels about being alone. Riley's somewhat optimistic determination to just go on is inspiring, I think. Although she clearly doesn't know that the cordyceps wreak havoc with your mind in the early stages of infection and that a quick and easy way out is definitely the way to go. My last thought is that we certainly didn't need this much detail in Ellie stitching up Joel. I don't want to see that. But look at his little face though. Look at how much love is in that face. Pedro Pascal is just the best.
I'm your daddy.
Okay guys, we've made it. Little rant time. I'll start by saying I did enjoy the episode. Like I mentioned, I was hooked on seeing what would happen in the next scene. But that was pretty much at the very start and at the very end. Everything in the middle was a bit meh. Riley wasn't a great character and her feelings for Ellie didn't really make me feel anything. Maybe it's because they already told the greatest love story of our time in episode 3, which left me reeling. Or maybe it's because I can relate more to a lifelong love rather than a crazy hormonal teenage love. But either way, I feel like their relationship was cute at best. It didn't need 45 minutes of screen time, especially considering the show could have easily established how much Riley meant to Ellie without the full episode being dedicated to her. Because, as I've mentioned, we figured out not to get attached to people in this show because they're instantly killed off. So unless we make characters or relationships magnificent, why should we care? It's sort of the same as when, what's her face? See, I don't even remember her name. That lady, when she died, I didn't care. And it's sad that Riley is dead and it's even more devastating that Ellie had to go through it. But I feel like not enough was done to establish a relationship that I cared about in this episode. The DLC was boring for me, to be honest. So I was going into this episode with high hopes that Craig Mazin would work his magic and make it fantastic. But sadly, and I cannot believe that I'm saying this, I think that he made an adaptation that follows the games too closely in this case. Okay, I'm done. Wait. Am I the only one who wanted to see an on-screen transformation of Riley and see what devastation Ellie goes through in that moment when she realizes she's actually immune and Riley isn't? Again, they didn't do this in the game, so I was desperate to see how Ellie reacted to finding out that she was immune and they still didn't do it. It's so frustrating. Okay, right, rant over, I promise. I don't like saying bad things about this program, but in all fairness, it's the worst episode I've seen so far. But it's still not a bad episode and that says something. Tune in next week for hopefully less rants. Anyway, if you've enjoyed my ramblings, press all the buttons, do all the things, and remember I stream on Twitch every Wednesday and Thursday, so stop by and say hi. I'll see you next week. Toodaloo!